welcome to Indigenous Peoples Day Rise to Vote. Thank you for joining us. I know you've been waiting this whole time, sitting by your keyboards, hitting refresh, 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 but we're glad you made it. I just wanted to give you a welcome and let you know a little bit about this event that we're having this awesome night. So Indige Design Collab got together, and around May is when we decided that we needed to do something for Design Week, and we also wanted to be safe because of COVID and there's a pandemic, and so this is the idea that came out. We decided to bring it outdoors and create a projection show where you would be able to view it safely from your homes. And then we would also have artists submit their designs, and we would be able to amplify their work and amplify the reason why Indigenous people count. We believe that in order for us to give a better standing for our communities, we need to rise to the opportunities. We need to rise in our communities, and we need to rise for our people. So I'm going to introduce our co-host today and our DJ. So our co-host is Indigenous Community Collaborative. We have Turbo here, 102. And this is a Native American woman-owned social enterprise with a mission to revitalize the Indigenous perspective. Their mission is to amplify Indigenous truth and values, resiliency, and validation through connection, abilities, and collaboration. And the key word is collaboration here, because Indige Design Collab also is a group that leans on each other, creates with each other. We have Brian Skeet, Sean Quaney, Danny Upshaw, Dustin Lopez, who was all part of this ideation, and it was our collaborative creative effort. So let's give a shout out to all those collaborators out there trying to create something. Woo! Right? As Indigenous people on this day, we need to remember that we can lean on each other. So our DJ, so we have an awesome DJ here. He is out from Oklahoma, and for 18 years, Olywurld has been DJing electronic dance music at numerous events and festivals and shows from LA, Denver, Chicago, Dallas, Washington, D.C., New York City, and Miami Beach. As a producer, Ollie has released one Make Time Records, Nuvio Music, and a self-released album titled Together. He is from the Ottawa, Missouri. He is Ottawa, Missouri, Comanche, Pawnee, and Lakota. Let's give it a hand for Olywurld as he takes us into the different segments, and we'll be hosting throughout the night. So stay tuned. We also have an exciting list of prizes that we have for you. We will have questions for the audience, and they will be posted in the comments section of YouTube. Answering any of these questions may get you a prize, and we have some amazing prizes, prize bundles that come with t-shirts and stickers and shoelaces and socks and just all kinds of stuff. So please stay tuned. I'm going to have Melody kind of give you more information about that. Turquoise. Turquoise.
Melody's my other half. So
okay, I get confused sometimes.
So
she's like,
oh my. Okay, so our first question, and again, like Uni said, you can answer the question in the comments on YouTube, and that's how you will win an awesome prize. We have some really, really incredible prizes tonight. So the first question is, what year was are Native Americans allowed to vote in all 50 states?
What year?
Yes, what year in all 50 states?
So leave your comment in the YouTube section, and let's give away our first prize in the next segment. So we're going to ask Olywurld to take it away into our next portion of the event. Are we good to go, guys?
And we'll see you guys soon.
space during this whole entire event. This is the first time we are doing a live event that is live and in a parking lot. Right,
and
guys?
all virtual.
All virtual.
With all kinds of sounds.
With all kinds of sounds. So we're going to go through, the co-host from Indigenous Community Collaborative is going to go through just some house rules that we have for commenting throughout the night as we begin talking about what it means to vote and why your vote counts.
So I'm the other half. Hi. So my name is Melody Lewis. I'm a Hobby Tewa and Hopi, and I'm so happy to be here. I'm the other co-founder for Indigenous Community Collaborative. And we have here Lynette. You want to say hi, Lynette?
Hi everyone, my name is Lynette Lewis, and I am a part of the REZponse Roundtable crew. Yeah.
So you want to talk about that? So REZponse Roundtable is our YouTube series that we have that talks about everything Indigenous identity. So we'll actually post a link here. We're going to be going live in between segments. So what we have set up for you guys today is that we are going to be doing 15-minute segments of showing you guys the art, and then we'll jump on every 10 minutes to kind of just tell you about designers and what we got going on. So today, what we have kind of for house rules is that we don't have any commenting abilities on YouTube right now, right?
I don't know. Do we have commenting abilities? We'll ask her. No commenting abilities.
Yeah,
so why don't we switch it to Instagram then?
Yeah.
You guys want to do Instagram and start commenting?
Yeah.
And so that's what we're going to do. So we just, the whole purpose, right? You heard Unique talk about this earlier, that the whole purpose of this event was for us to connect, right? To connect and to talk about Indigenous Peoples Day and celebrating that, and kind of just showcasing all the art that we have for today. So with that said, I think we should probably just give handles. You want to give handles, and then we'll do commenting there. So, we're going to talk a lot about voting, and we're going to talk a lot about Indigenous identity, and again, we just want to connect, so make sure we have all kinds of positive comments, and we just want to know where you guys are at and engage, right? Yeah. So you want to give our handles?
Yeah, sure. So I'm the other half of Indigenous Community Collaborative, also known as IndigeousCC, and my name is Turquoise Devereaux, and so our Instagram is indigenize.cc, so that is our handle for Instagram. Like Mel said, we're gonna be, probably because we don't have the chat or the comment feature on YouTube, we're gonna be having you do some things on Instagram or answering our questions on Instagram, so make sure you follow us. And then on Facebook, we're IndigeousCC, well, Indigenous space CC. So that's how you can find us on there. So stay tuned. We're really excited to keep doing this till the night's over. And happy Indigenous Peoples Day!
Yay!
I'm gonna keep saying that. As many times as I can.
And I'll do my wah 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 wah. DJ, give me a wah wah wah. So go ahead, Lynette. You want to give some handles for you're representing a couple things, or should we not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Throw it all out there. It's Indigenous Peoples Day, guys.
Okay, so I am the Director of Basketball Operations and Program Development for the NABI Foundation. So if you would like to follow the NABI Foundation, please do so. Our handle is NABI Foundation, all together. So give us a follow.
And then you want to give your handle?
Yes, how you found this event. We are at IndigeDesignCollab. You can find us on Facebook and on Instagram using that tag. I believe I will go ahead and post something, probably a little graphic of us four here, sitting in this lovely little space that we laid out for you. And you can comment there throughout the night.
So let's do our first trivia question. Actually, this is our second time doing it. So do you want to
Repeat the question we had before.
Okay.
Yes. And so the question is, what year were natives given the right to vote in all 50 states? So there was a time where there was only one state where natives didn't have the right to vote, and that was a specific year when they finally did get the right, and that made all 50 states natives could vote. So what year was that? And we're gonna have you guys DM us.
Sure.
So if you go ahead and follow indigenize.cc on Instagram and then send us a DM, and the first person to send us a DM with the right answer will win some prizes. have some really awesome prizes: t-shirts, stickers, socks, bags,
Shoelaces.
and shoelaces.
And so all the items that we got are from Indigenous entrepreneurs. We only buy from Indigenous entrepreneurs so we can support their art and their work and their everything. So we're going to be highlighting them today.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Great. I think this is good. I think we're all set up.
Cool. So again,
Awesome.
tune in, and now we'll switch it over back to Olywurld.
Welcome back. Can you guys hear me out there? Are we good? Are we good? Woohoo! Happy Indigenous Day, people! So we have Douglas Miles in the house. He was one of our artists that was able to contribute. He even released an entire series that dealt with discussing what it means to be a Native voter, and so we're just going to ask some questions tonight, and he's going to give us a little bit of his perspective, which I think is really important, that we have fellow artists, fellow people that are in our minds. I see you as a celebrity, I'm going to say that, just because you have done so much for your community. You've done so much for the indigenous youth within the San Carlos Apache Reservation. And we watch you, we follow you, we all get inspired from your work. So we really, really appreciate that. So my first question is, tell us more about the project that you were working on that stated you're voting on Native land.
The project the series I created is called You're Voting on Native Land. And the reason I created it is because I wanted people to really have a different kind of context around voting. Like, most people think about voting as like, oh, like Native people, they think like, oh, it's just for white people. Oh, it's for people that love the system. Oh, the white system doesn't do anything for us. And that might be kind of true, actually. But we have to look at voting. I think Native people need to look at voting as a tool and as a weapon. Because there are people in office that are not helping brown people, they're not helping black people, they're not helping Native people, they're not helping people of color. And a lot of these people, unfortunately, they're very racist. And so we have to look at voting as a tool to remove these people with racist and bigoted beliefs around, especially around Native issues, Native land issues, Native natural resource issues. So I'm not saying that voting is like the ultimate answer to everything. I'm just saying that we have to look at it as a tool and as a weapon in our own arsenal of how do we change a community. You know, there's so many weapons we can use, like design is a weapon, fashion can be a weapon, art can be a weapon, poetry, film, and so obviously that's what you're seeing here with this series. And this looks awesome. I love seeing that up there. I'd like to get some photos of that.
Yeah, definitely. This is the night that we're trying to create a vibe within downtown Phoenix. Just to let you know, give you some perspective, this beautiful mural here in the parking lot that we're sitting in, we are in Roosevelt Row Arts District. It's a big feat for us because honestly, we don't see a lot of indigenous people taking over spaces like this. So we need to create spaces like this for indigenous people so that we can start becoming a larger seen community. Sometimes I feel like we feel unheard and we feel unseen. Well, let's start creating programming and let's start creating projects, especially projects like Doug Miles had created for this. I'm definitely a person that believes that there are certain policies out there that harm our people. There are certain reasons why a policy will get passed. For instance, water rights is a big thing among tribal communities, us debating between the state and the tribes. Those are things that we need to pay attention to and understand where this power comes from. And your vote counts. I know that there's tons of people that will say it doesn't, but honestly, your vote, just pitching in just that one vote, it's like rain, right? You start seeing one sprinkle, and it's like, okay, cool. But then you wait a moment, and the wave comes over, and it starts pouring and pouring and pouring, and all of a sudden you have a puddle, and all of a sudden change happens. We need to mimic that sort of change, mimic the change from nature. So,
yeah, I kind of want to go off of that. I know you mentioned let's create programs. I know a lot of communities are probably not knowledgeable in that field of knowing about policies and everything. So I feel like maybe we can create some programs to teach our Indigenous communities, about what these policies mean, what these, bills, laws, everything means. So, they can be more knowledgeable, and especially when they go and vote,
Yeah.
So I think that's very important too.
yes, you have rights. As an American citizen, you have rights, and nobody can deter you from voting. Nobody can cause any hardship from voting, and nobody can keep you from voting. So once you know those rights, go and vote. Safety is first. If you are not on the permanent mail-in ballot list, I suggest you do that in your state. Arizona is now, we have until October 23rd to register to vote. It has been extended. It is not too late.
And you can easily go onto any social media platform, and there are links and everything to register and how to vote.
Yeah. So we have one last question. I'm just going to kind of tap into more of the perspective of Native voting with you. Give us a little bit of detail on the land part in your statement, because I think that is so powerful when you say you're voting on Native land.
What? Testing, can you hear me? Is my mic on?
We got thumbs up.
Testing, are we good? He said switch. She was asking me what does the land part in your voting on native land mean, and why did I phrase it that way? Well, this is a design conference, it's design week, right? And so as an artist and a designer, it's important to communicate immediately and effectively with your audience and your viewer. So, I'm on Facebook like everybody else all the time. I'm on Instagram all the time. And all these posts come by and you're reading them, and you stop and you're like, I'm not gonna read this is too long. Or they're going on and on and on, right? So it's the designer in me that really was trying to think of, well, what kind of phrase could I create that's direct and simple and straight to the point, but sends a message. But an important message that Native people will understand, because we know as Native people, we're tied to the land. We know the land is important in every aspect of our life. We know that even though we're living here in Phoenix, or we're down here on the weekend or whatever, where do we always want to go where? Home. Why? Because that's our land, that's where we're from, that's who we are, that's where we spring from. So, but knowing that some non-Native people would read this, I also want non-Native people, non-Natives, to really think about, well, if you're voting, you should think about the fact that you're voting on Native land. You should really consider the fact that where we are, where you are now was once ours. And you should really think about the importance of Native people, Native voices, Native ideas, Native concepts. These things are still important. That's why we're here tonight on 3rd Street and on Roosevelt in downtown Phoenix. It was a way for this group to let people know our voice is important. Our presence is still important. We are still very present. We're still very creative bunch of people. We may not be out there sitting on a train track weaving a basket, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean,
Wait, I
think
did that
baskets.
last night.
I think baskets are awesome. Tortillas are awesome. Tamales are awesome. But really, though, seriously, you're really talking about when you're designing a message. That's really what this was. It was an exercise in designing an effective message. I wanted people to not even have to guess, what does it mean? Because sometimes you like see these messages, right, on social media and be like, what does it mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I know what it means. And you got to pass it around a couple of times. And then hopefully people get it, right? But if they don't get it, they're not going to like it. And then hopefully like you don't get like canceled for your message. Because it's not that good. You're like, oh,
That
this
cancel culture.
Yeah,
It's
no.
about.
We don't want cancel. We don't like cancel powwow culture. No, I'm just kidding. Let's not cancel our powwow people, dudes. Oh, I have a saying about that though.
Awesome.
I have a saying, I'm just gonna say it. I say, he wore full regalia, but spelled fool, F-O-O-L. That's messed up, right? He wore full regalia, because you know what I mean. Yeah. All right, I'm sorry, I got off the subject. So, but yeah, I think they look great up there projected like
Yeah,
that.
they do.
Don't wear full regalia,
We're gonna.
dudes.
No, we're great. I honestly, we're working with the tech in the background. We're gonna start displaying more of these posters, get them up there so you guys can enjoy this next set. And I believe Olywurld is up next, and to give us more beats and music. So thank you so much, Doug, for joining us and contributing to this discussion. We really, really appreciate it. And we will be looking out for more of your projects.
Thank you, thanks for inviting me. This is awesome.
Just again, if you're just now tuning in, my name is Turquoise. I'm with IndigeousCC.
I'm Melody, and I'm also with IndigeousCC.
Is that good? Okay. And then?
And I'm Lynette Lewis, and I am with the REZponse Roundtable and also with the NABI Foundation.
Oh.
Did she say REZponse Roundtable? Just kidding.
We are REZponse! Yay!
Yeah, but today we're coming at you from a different angle.
Yes. Still on YouTube, but we are collaborating with Indige Design Collab for the Rise to Vote event. So, like Lynette said, oh, actually, we have a winner of our very first raffle winner. Yeah, do that again. There we go. So, her name is Taylor. And she actually DM'd our IndigeousCC. And this is her prize. Do you want to show what she won?
Taylor Nota. I guess.
Taylor Nota.
You got this.
Congrats, Taylor.
Yay!
So you got this awesome swag bag. So we'll be sending it out to her, and then we're gonna announce our next raffle at the end of the segment. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So, like Lynette mentioned, she's part of NABI Foundation. And so we're going to be asking her some questions to learn more about NABI. Yay. We love NABI. NABI is incredible. They're awesome. And so tell us a little bit about NABI, Lynette.
Okay. So I'm going to actually read off our website because I love how it's like the way it's written. So we are a national foundation committed to supporting Native American youth by implementing programs that encourage higher education, sports, health and wellness, and community building, which are all, I feel, key important topics that Indigenous communities kind of like, our youth especially, how they can engage with the communities and, beyond. So we create, encourage, and support Native American youth now and through their journey as they discover who they are, what they want to be, and how they can impact future generations.
So in reality, I think everybody knows NABI, huh? NABI, but I wish I could say I played in a NABI tournament when I was younger, but I'm too pull out my shoes. But
all you Nobbies out there watching.
hey. No, but we actually got the honor and the privilege to do some NABI programming with you guys this summer. It's so much fun when you guys have all those little Indian kids up there. All those, yeah.
So we do have several programs through our foundation. Our biggest one is the Native American Basketball Invitational. We would have gone on 18 years this year, but unfortunately due to COVID, it was canceled unfortunately. But next year will be our 18th annual. And 2 years ago, we did implement our Educational Youth Summit. So that is a new component of our week-long event, and it's been great. It's been, I feel, successful, and I feel it's only going to get bigger from here on out.
No, definitely. So I think that goes into our next question.
Yeah, so tell us about, some of the adjustments you had to make now because of the pandemic.
Yeah, so it was very, heartbreaking for me personally. I know for our CEO and co-founder, Gina Marie Scarpa, we definitely had to make the decision for our, attendees, our participants, and we felt like it was necessary to cancel the tournament, the event, which was actually a good idea because July, when our tournament was supposed to take place, it kind of was like a bad time for the pandemic here in Arizona. So we felt like we made a great decision of not hosting the event this year. I know it did affect a few communities. We've seen like newspaper articles, talking about how it affected certain communities. But next year we are planning on having the
Coming
event.
back strong.
Regardless,
this year.
if we can have audience or not, we're gonna make it work some way, somehow. We gotta have NABI.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I feel like that just shows how resilient Native people are.
Yes.
No matter what we're going through, we find a way to make it through. So I
Exactly.
think that is so awesome, so important.
Yeah, and I feel we're gonna come back, bigger, stronger. I'm so excited for some of the things that are gonna happen next year, but we will be making announcements.
Yeah. Awesome. So, Lynette, if you're talking to a NABI alumni who just turned 18, what would you say to them in regards to voting?
I feel like it is important to vote. It's a way of expressing yourself and a way of.
Just kidding.
Sorry if we scared you. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, so like I said, oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought.
Expressing yourself.
Yeah, just a way of expressing yourself. Also, you can make a difference for your community just by voting. I feel like we can all come together as a community of not just your tribe, but across the nation. We can all come together and create a difference in.
For sure. I was thinking about NABI alums and about when we were talking about having you guys on. We were like, man, I think NABI alum 18 years and older,
Yes.
right? If you guys can vote, go out and vote because you guys are the future, right?
You guys are the future, and like we said, like I said, we're here to be with you for your journey.
Yeah.
Whatever you plan on doing, and also, we have Indigenous leaders out there who are running in these races, and yeah, it can be you.
We're sharing nights.
So, go ahead.
Okay, so last question. So, what is your website, and what are some announcements from NABI? And how do people get involved too?
All right, so we actually are going to be making an announcement of our dates in November. So if you follow us on our social media platforms, we have Facebook, Instagram. So if you follow us, you will definitely hear the announcements of when our dates are going to be for next year. And then also in December, we plan on announcing our dates for registration. And if you want to get involved in NABI, there are so many different ways you can get involved. You can register a team. If not, then you can also volunteer. We rely a lot on volunteers, and that's so that's what makes up our program, our event. It's who we rely on, because honestly, there's only 3 of us that work for the foundation, and we need helpers. So definitely help out. And then our website is www.nabifoundation.org, nabifoundation.org. And then another way to help us out, get involved, is by donating. You can be a sponsor of our event. We even take small donations, because any donation makes a big difference, honestly. We are a nonprofit organization, and that's what we rely on. That's how we survive. That's how we succeed. So get your communities involved. Contact your council members. Say, hey, let's help out NABI. So this is a great program, and it's only going to get bigger. And I would love for it to expand in all our programs. In addition to our event, we also give away scholarships. So last year we gave away 2 $10,000 scholarships to 2 twin girls who are now in Stanford. So shout out to our Stanford girls, making us proud. And like you said, voting. I want to make an additional thing.
Yeah.
We have, like you said, we have 18 years alumni. You're out there. So definitely let's do this make a difference.
Yeah. I had the opportunity to volunteer, and I don't know if it's it's really busy. There's always something going on. You're running around everywhere. But the energy, man, the energy of just being around all the youth, and it's basketball. I'm a basketball fan, so it's a lot of, it's a good energy, good vibes.
Yeah. They're always so rejuvenating. It's really great.
And me personally, I feel like we're one big family. Anybody who's ever been involved with NABI, whether you're a volunteer, donor, played in the tournament, coaches, I feel like we're all just one big family. So it's, let's support one another, and be one big happy family.
So to for someone else to win some more prizes.
Yeah. So Glenn, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much. NABI is amazing.
Thank you guys so much.
Yes, we love NABI. So thank you. Also, are we gonna have them do the
so we're gonna go ahead and announce our next raffle activity. So what we're gonna do is have you turn it back to Lynette. Yeah.
Okay, so we really want to get our viewers engaged. So we have an awesome DJ here. So we would like to see you, your little dance party at home. So if you can record yourself dancing, grooving to the music, tag IndigeousCollab.
IndigeDesignCollab.
Yeah, I had to say it so. But yeah, tag them, and then we will pick the winner.
So let's take it back to Olywurld.
Do you think, I read somewhere where you said that God created disco so that you could be born and be so blessed. Is that true? It feels like that sometimes. Really? Yeah. And do you like being known as the undisputed queen of disco? Yeah, it's nice being called the queen.
Welcome back. Thank you for hanging with us. It's Indigenous Peoples Day. I feel like
Indigenous Peoples Day.
Right? We'll raise our spirits up every time we say that. This is the day to celebrate. Yes.
talk a lot about right now in this segment is collaboration and how we can do that to increase visibility of Indigenous peoples, right?
Yep.
So I want to just, again, so Melody Lewis, I don't know if our little things are down here, but I'm Melody, Indigenous Community Collaborative, and I just want to share this story about how we started collaborating together, right?
Yeah.
And so I actually got a picture and I posted it on my social media when we first met you guys, right?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember where we were
at? The Churchill.
At the Churchill.
At the Churchill, second floor, remember?
Yeah.
And my drawing to, like, what drew me to Indige Design Collab is that they were doing the same thing that we were doing, but in a different space. Do you remember that?
Yeah. We leaned on education. We wanted to put our skills forward so that we could inspire Indigenous youth to take a track that is not necessarily seen as art because it is design and it's a professional world. So it was all about skills, and we just started talking about skills.
Because you know me in workforce.
And I'm in education, so.
And then somewhere full circle, we ran into Lynette and NABI. Like, we all have the same kind of vision, right?
Vision, yeah.
Yeah, the same vision to, for us, what we call it is revitalize the Indigenous perspective,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then in
And
the end,
it's like empowering Native people, right? Indigenous people to really navigate these systems and find their way and give them skills and opportunities to do that. And that's what we all do.
So what do you guys think was the hardest thing coming off it? I'm not sure if everybody's from a reservation or grew up here in Phoenix, but what was the hardest thing for you to overcome when it came to your identity? That's the question, because I feel like identity plays a big part in how we collaborate, especially when we come from tribal communities, right?
girl, I'm still going through it.
Does it ever end?
Does it ever
I don't know.
So I'll start. My first thing is, like, really, I have this, like, strong connection with my family, right? And so, like, I get separation when I'm away from them. Like, that's hard for me, but I feel like I have that role to come here or come do what I got to do so I could go back home at some point or get back to my family, my community. So I think that's probably one of my biggest struggles is, you know, that one core value of that is kind of tugs at me all the time.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm from Montana, so living in Phoenix, you know, moving here alone was huge, and being away from my family probably is one of the hardest things. But I know the work that I'm doing for my community and for my family, and that's just something I feel like I have to sacrifice in order for me to make a better world for my community. And I'm here, but I met awesome people over here, so it's worked out.
What about you? Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. But for me, you know, I'm originally from New Mexico, came from the Res, and then came out to Phoenix, Arizona for school. So that was definitely a hard transition for me. Same with family, being away from family. You know, I've never really been that long without being around family, and it was definitely very hard on me. But thanks to some of the programs at, you know, ASU. You know, I was able to connect with other Indigenous, you know, people there on campus. So that was the great thing about the school.
Yeah, for sure.
But it definitely took me a while to get used to, you know, being away from home.
That adjustment period is
Yes.
no joke, huh?
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, for me, it was, I moved out here in the year 2000, and it was brand new. I went directly into design school, and I was so determined to make my mark. Even in design school, it was completely competitive. And everybody knows the art world is competitive. But design, it has that extra level, right? Because you have to produce a professional portfolio, and you have to show your work in a way that pulls people and says, like, you know what, that's what I need for my company. And so for me, it was proving to myself that I can be that professional individual, and I can be that person that can step into an office space and create a vibe. Because honestly, I was scared. I was so scared coming from the reservation. I saw so many of my friends in my community not complete their studies or end up moving back home, and sadly some of them passed away. We did have a lot of friends that died young because I felt like they struggled with this concept of leaving home and not fully understanding, how the world works, the system works, and we all have trauma attached to us, right? Like our families, and just who we are, we bring that with us, and we're starting our healing journey, except we don't know it then. We don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah, we have
What
no
does that
idea.
mean?
Yeah, and I felt it. Like I really felt like, wow, I didn't realize how many things were out there that I could select and that I could choose. Choice became my power, basically saying, this is one side, this is another, and I would repeatedly choose things that I was passionate about. And so it took a lot of failing, took a lot of hiccups, right? Like tonight is something, we tried something for the first time, and we've never worked in this sort of capacity. We haven't worked in these applications before. We're learning brand new, but what I think doesn't hold us back is fear in this realm.
No, we're like the most adaptable. Like, all right, then let's have a conversation about this.
I know. Let's have a conversation.
Let's just make it work.
Exactly.
You know what I think that's sticking out for me when you're talking is like every one of us has a role, right? Like a different role in a different space and whatever that may be. And it doesn't. You say this all the time, so this is a Turk thing. I learned it from her, but it's like we chose to come to the reservation. Off the reservation to come here to the city, but that doesn't mean that you need to, right?
Yeah, like I would say, like success doesn't always mean leaving the res.
Yeah.
Right? And like for us, that's what we're doing, right? And we do it in these spaces, but people being on the res is important. Like revitalizing our language, our culture, so that we have that to go back to, and I think that's important too. So, and we're really like, we just want to create spaces to whatever avenue anyone chooses, they have the support to do it.
For sure.
So,
Yes. Empowering each other, feeding off of each other's inspiration. Honestly, I know, like having these women, like strong Native women right beside me just fuels me. Like honestly, yeah, it is a vibe. It's a vibe.
Yeah, I kind of want to like tell a little story, like I used to be super shy, like very shy person.
2 months ago.
But I feel like you just gotta be brave and just do something that it's out of your comfort zone. That's how I ended up here. And I'm very comfortable.
She's fascinated. Beautiful butterfly. Which is true. I was joking when I said like 2 months ago, but really she was really kind of like reserved and like, look at her go.
And honestly, and that's something that I struggle with a lot. Like, because I grew up just being so loud, I feel like, but
infectious laugh.
I know, like infectious laugh, and if people walk into the room and I'd laugh, and people would be like, "Oh, Unique's here." I know that laugh anywhere. But it's funny because like I would see other. I didn't grow up on the Navajo reservation. I grew up in Rapid City in different urban spaces, and so when I moved back to the res, I realized that people were quiet. Like people weren't as outspoken as I was, and it took me a long time to figure out where my voice was again, because I was in a totally different space with totally different cultural norms, and I feel like now, I understand like where my power comes from, because I was able to overcome each scenario, not just in urban spaces, but also in reservation spaces, because there's a lot of healing that needs to be done within our communities, and so a lot of those things start to appear right when you're doing something different from everybody else. So
which is kind of like going to segue into, because I'm just kind of reflecting on our previous guest, Mr. Doug, right?
Doug Miles.
Yeah, Mr. Doug Miles, and some of the things that he was saying was pretty profound, right? About voting and increasing visibility and what our power is, right? Each one of us has our own power. I thought that was really cool when he was talking about that, right?
Yeah, and using things, and I like that he used the term weapon, because not a lot of times do we see because we do live in a system, and I think we all know what the system does to Indigenous people. We all know that we see it happen to our grandparents and the story they told from boarding school system.
And we live it.
And we live it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even we haven't experienced it directly, we still live it.
Yeah. And I think that having that open dialogue to be able to talk about it, talk our way through it, needs to happen. And the only way that happens is when you collaborate with people. And even when you collaborate with people who are doing something completely opposite than you.
Yeah.
That's when you learn the most.
Yeah.
I think that's when you learn those, and we also like have the same mission, so we're just giving people the most opportunities possible, right?
Yeah.
It's because we're like experts in different areas, and so it's like when you collab, it's like more than just an array of different ways.
And then you get all of this. Like,
And then
It's a huge weapon. I honestly think if more natives did more collaboration, especially with creative people and with the professional realm, with the legal realm. Oh my God! If we got into the legal realm,
don't get us started.
we can ignite so much.
Any attorneys out there want collaborate?
Right?
God, laugh again. Don't catch them.
No, I mean, and I think that's one of the things that needs to be said, over and over again, is that we just need to encourage each other to be our best selves and our most authentic selves.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes. Because our ancestors lived through hundreds of years of people telling them they could not be themselves. So this is
probably a nice little kind of, thank you for that, nice little segue, because we have our own weapon, right? We're all designed a different way. Hence, our shirts.
Oh yeah, sure.
Indigenous by design, y'all. So if you want to purchase one, we are actually selling them.
Yeah, we are. We're selling them. We printed a lot, so we're just gonna see how many people want to wear these.
Indigenous by design.
Cool fact.
Hashtag.
Yeah. Wait, I don't know. Where's the kiddo? We need to ask him if this is okay. Is this still a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so cool factoid, right? So we invented a font. It's a font that you can type out, and that's what Indigenous is spelled out with. We designed it so that we can replicate our brand in a different way, and we can type out statements, and we can type out t-shirts, and we can do fun things with it. So there's cool ways that you can take your graphics and your design, just change it up a little and put it through a font program and make a complete font. Who knew you could do
no
that?
idea.
I learned that last year.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do that. Thank you. Thanks for the
So you can find our t-shirts on IndigeDesignCollab, and if you get lost in trying to spell that out, you can go to our Instagram, and it will be in the links. So please visit. Are we ready for the next segment, guys?
So we're gonna announce our raffle winner on our next.
Oh
segment.
no!
Or
Let's
do you wanna
do a raffle now. We'll actually do. Do you want to do 4 raffles?
Okay, you got it. Look what I got here. I got some people that have posted some things. So do you want to pull up your Instagram?
Yeah.
To see if they tagged you. I'm gonna read. Okay. So we have one from Stephanie Evans. Stephanie Evans is one of our winners. She shared one of her videos of them grooving out to her son. So Steph, you are a winner.
Nice.
All right.
Did you get any tags?
What?
Can't say the word tag. Everybody's gonna come and say tags.
Thanks.
Did you get any tags?
What is that? What's the?
It's a accent. I say big. I say tag. I say flag.
That's Montana.
Well, usually it's like Midwestern, which I'm not.
Tig and the big and the flag.
There's a lot of other things I can't say too, so that's not just really good.
Right.
Message.
No, they didn't.
Well,
I
Steph
think we
did.
got another one. Didn't we get?
We'll announce it at the next one. So we have
Okay.
3 more raffles coming up. Right now we got Steph as a winner. So Steph, I'm gonna message you, and so we can send it back to.
Well,
Okay, so actually I wanted to mention something because we were talking about collaboration, right, and how important collaboration is. So one key point of collaborating is so we're more visible, right? Like that's the point, is that we can make people more successful in these visible spaces, and we can also be visible in what we do, right? And revitalizing the Indigenous perspective is so important. And you know, another way we could be visible, by voting.
I like that.
It's so true though.
It
Like,
is.
It really is.
Honestly, the census just wrapped up. Like, the census just wrapped up at the end of September, and it sucks because that wasn't the date that was given earlier on. We were not supposed to wrap up until the end of October, and because that was limited, a lot of natives and a lot of indigenous communities were not counted.
Yes.
And that hurts us. And I don't think a lot of people understand like how data affects indigenous people. We are not seen in almost all data spaces. I mean, talk about the COVID pandemic and the situation that's going through there.
Yeah.
Our communities aren't represented. We are literally other. And so anybody that is tossed into other is either us or something else, right? And so we can't really say or give any account or any data referencing how many people were affected, how many families were affected by this whole pandemic. So data is really important, and I really feel like as Indigenous people, we need to understand the power of data, first of all, and then how we can build our own systems from data.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
so,
so true.
and voting is just one of those many facets.
Yes, voting is so important because that's the way you can make a difference for your community, is voting.
So on that note, I think our next raffle is, I want you guys to send a message to, we'll just use NABI, okay? So go to NABI's page on Instagram and direct message them why voting is important to you. And so the first first two people to do that will win a prize.
So what's the NABI handle for Instagram?
It's NABI Foundation, all one word.
So go to NABI Foundation and tell us what voting means to you. Okay? Should we give it back to Ollie?
Are we gonna give it back to Ollie right now?
You want to tell them what you're going to see?
Yeah. Let's roll through that. So we are doing an artist highlight, and we wanted to wait for us to line up all the videos. I'm just going to give you a little sneak peek behind the scenes. We are using a program called Mad Mapper, and Mad Mapper creates a visual display being projected on any building. You can do flat wall surfaces, you can do corners, you can do wall and sky. I mean, there's just so many ways that you can portray light. And so we are lining up these videos, and we are going to go through each and every artist submission and be able to tell you how to find more of their work, and also the posters that they were able to submit. Well, some of them submitted videos too, and so it's really cool how many people were able to contribute. A little bit of a side note is not everyone filled out the form, so we have a couple people that we don't have any of this information for. This is why surveys and forms matter.
It says the organizer.
I know, right? It says, I know. I got some really cool submissions, and I was like, who is this? I don't know where to find them. So please, if you haven't, fill out the forms, put in your name, your tribal affiliation, and what's that?
The theme. You want to tell me about the theme?
So the theme is voting. So what we ended up doing is we released 3 themes, and one of them is Rise to Vote, meaning that your vote counts. The next one was focused on census, and because the census got cut short and we didn't really have enough time to adjust that, we still think we count. Like, we honestly, why not?
Indigenous people are amazing. Like, we count.
Yes, I know. We are amazing, and we have to count. So we kept the theme in there. Yeah. And heck yeah, count me twice if you want to. But that we needed to amplify that every person counts. And the next theme that we also wanted to kind of give a shout out for is what was the last one? Safety! Oh, yeah. Sorry, my mind's going. Isn't it funny when you multitask? Like you're like, like yeah, lights everywhere. So the last one was safety while voting. I know a lot of you out there might be afraid to go to your polling center, or you're worried about, you know, the social distancing measures. Those are things that are okay to be worried about. This is why we have mail-in ballots, right? So you have up until 15 days from November 3rd. So count back 15 days. What is that? Anybody do the math? I want to say it's October, I think it's October 15th.
What is it?
So that is the last day that you can sign up for mail-in voting. And honestly, I just got my mail-in ballot and I voted early. You can submit it anywhere, any of your polling districts, and all you have to do is fill out the form in the comfort of your own couch. Yeah. And you don't have to go to any, you know, lengths to go poll. You just need to mail it back in, or you can drop it off at a polling station.
Fill out the form.
Fill out the form.
Fill out the form.
That little effort does matter.
Why you guys vote?
That's a good question. Shall we do a question about voting?
Let's do it.
Yeah. So,
We vote.
why do you vote?
I'm a social worker. So. It's like literally all I do in my world that I've been doing for years is social justice, policy. I do a lot of policy work. And so I understand the importance of voting. If we don't have the Native voice in there, then things don't get done for Native people. Like that's what it comes down to. And it's hard because, you know, they always say like the barriers and struggles that Native communities have had in voting. Like we know there's been voter suppression. And I always say it's like they wouldn't suppress your vote if it didn't matter, right? Like it is
true.
so true.
Yeah.
Like it is important for us to have a voice of how our communities, how things are happening in our communities, for our communities, and around our communities. So I think, yeah, it's important.
Well, I would say it's like my role in duty, like especially as an indigenous person, you know, doing it for my people, you know, ancestors, those who never had a chance to ever vote.
Yes.
I think that's critical. I think that's why I vote. It's like you just think about all the generations that before us, that kind of, you know, all the battles that they fought for us to be where we're at. And I'm like, I better get my butt up and go vote. You know, like, that's the least I can do. Right?
Yeah, because because the first person won.
Oh, yeah, she won.
Taylor, and the year was 1965.
1965. Can you believe that?
Yeah, Utah was the last state to give Natives the right to vote.
So just a point of reference, shout out to my dad, but my dad was born in 1959.
So in his lifetime,
Yeah, so in my dad's lifetime.
in
That's
some
nuts.
places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I don't know if I feel like I take a lot for granted, right? Because our parents struggled through the Great Depression and then all the wars and then the code talkers, right? The code talkers, when they went to war, could not even vote, meaning that they couldn't put their ballot in to say what is right for their community. And they built from the ground up the entire structure of the Navajo Nation. For instance, the police department, all of the systems that we now run today, that all came from our ability to vote. And it just inspired this whole generation to become more active in civic engagement. And so we have the ability to inspire one another in that way, and also look to our ancestors.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Shall we go to
Yeah. So let's go ahead and go to Ollie.
Thank you guys for sharing.
Yeah.
So make sure you go out and vote.
So go vote. Go vote.
Go vote.
Go vote
So we'll
first.
head it back to Ollie.
Yep.
Yeah.
it's down to you. And now what I say, there's one way. Feel the rhythm, have a taste of some sweet, sweet love. Sweet, sweet love. Yeah, it's just like I'm saying, boy, you know it's right. To make it takes a whole lot of paradise. Yeah, you see it now. You know it's funny how it changed when life get a taste of the sweet, sweet love. Sweet, sweet love. Sweet, sweet love. There are some things I can do without, some things I just don't need. Too much in life gets cluttered. I like the feel of simplicity. Sweet, sweet love. I like the feel of simplicity. Sweet, sweet love. I like the feel of simplicity.
Olywurld.
Sweet, sweet love.
Let's do this.
soul in the music. I got the love in the music. I got soul in the music. I got the love in the music. I got soul in the music. I got the love in the music. Getting deep in the mix. Oh man. I got house music fever. I got the love in the music. I got soul in the music. I got the love in the music. Getting deep in the mix. I got the love in the music. I got the sound in the music. I got the love in the music. Getting deep in the mix. Coast to coast.
Awesome. We are back. Thank you. Hopefully you guys were dancing in your living rooms or
I
your
saw
kitchen.
some.
Wait, one more thing. Happy Indigenous Peoples Day! It's almost time we can say that. I mean, you can say that really any day.
No, I was just gonna say, like, tomorrow I'm waking up and I'm saying, Happy Indigenous Peoples Day! Because guess what? Every day is Indigenous Peoples Day.
And every day is a good day to be Indigenous.
Yes, exactly. So we're sad to say this, but we are coming to a close. We've been out here taking up a lot of space and blasting music in all directions. And so we wanted to give a shout out and some thank yous. We wanted to thank you for bearing with us through this whole amazing event and this learning experience. Honestly, I feel like each of us are going to walk away with a piece of a plant that we need to grow and water and pour. I just feel like there's a lot of growth that can happen from this. So I want to thank everybody who is still online or maybe is watching this later on, right?
Right.
So I'm going to say thank you to Instituto, which kind of lit a fire underneath us. They initiated the Native American Voter Engagement Project. And honestly, when we did this poster show, we were just going to do basic themes about identity and Indigenous peoples. But then the whole idea of voting, right? Empowering people through voting, understanding our rights, understanding how long it took us to get our votes. So thank you, Instituto, for diving into this and giving us...
Shout out to Louise.
Yeah, shout out to Luis and his whole team that was able to really walk us through the steps of really finding our power. And you know, even their org, we were so amazed that somebody was going to give a cash prize to do a project like this. It is amazing, and I honestly...
They do great work.
Yes, from the bottom of our heart, thank you. From that event, 4 Directions and the Movement Voter Project gave us a micro grant funding and was able to supply us with some funds so we can buy equipment. So like I said, this is our first time doing
cool,
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a surprise too. They're like, by the way, you get some money and you get some money.
Yeah, and when you tuned into the competition, it was so cool to be
Yeah,
able
it
to
was
like
really cool.
watch the winners win the grand prize, but then be so surprised at the end and be able to get a little bit of funding to just, again, water the seed, water the plant, water the growth. So thank you for seeing us. I want to thank the Indigenous Community Collaborative, these ladies, lovely ladies here, who have made this night such a successful, shining. I feel like there's a vibe here that just cannot die right now. We need this to keep going. We need this to keep going.
We need this in 2020.
Yes. We need more of this in 2020.
Right.
Yeah. I really wish like we had like something like the native view, right? We're all sitting
Well,
there.
actually, we kind of do #REZponse roundtable. Check it out.
They do.
Unique, you gotta come on an episode.
Unique will be here.
I will try. I will try. Juggling a lot of things here. And so thank you, ladies. Thank you for sticking with me and sitting here with me.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you for being here. The next group we want to give a shout out to is NABI. The Native American Basketball Invitation was able to bring some perspective that brought the youth conversation into this, just really understanding how to activate those youth, right? The youths.
We have shout out to Adon, who's behind the scenes over there, and Gina Marie.
Yes.
Annette.
Yes, all the behind the scenes crew. Like honestly, the people that don't like to be in front of the camera are doing all the work right on the other side. So that brings me to the change makers in my life because I feel so honored to know these people. Brian Skeet for his vision and bringing his tech skills to the table. This is something that was an idea, guys, just a conversation. And then we bought the program and we bought the computer and we bought the application. And guess what? Brian learned it. And then I watched and said, ooh, you can do that. Can you do this? And can you do this? So much appreciation for Brian. I also want to give a shout out to Sean Kwani, who is in the back room monitoring our feed, telling us when our mics are down, telling us if our video is glitching, and of course Canyon's helping him back there. But shout out to Sean. Also want to say thank you to Dustin and Danny. Dustin Lopez and Danny Upshaw. We're using some of Danny's equipment here. He brought the lights. He's basically creating the shine, guys. Like this is why we're all lit tonight. It's because of Danny Upshaw and Dustin Lopez for creating some of the social media content that we were able to put out there earlier in the month. I want to say thank you to Olywurld for bringing the sound equipment. Yes, and the beats and the sound. I feel like we could keep this going all night
You
long.
want to dance all night long.
I know.
I was dancing.
And can you guys believe it? He's a flutist.
Oh my gosh.
He can like mix on the mixer, start scratching, and then break out his flute, and then start playing. And I mean, this guy has got skills. So if you guys need a DJ for any weddings, for any large events, please reach out to him.
Yay.
Amazing guy. I want to say thank you to Roosevelt Row CDC. Space. Let's all look around.
Yeah.
This space is the Welcome Center, and this space, I'm brand new to this space, but what they were able to do is say, Unique, we love your ideas, make them happen. Here's the parking lot, here's the wall, here's the container building. Let's bring Indigenous people to downtown Phoenix. Thank you, Roosevelt Row CDC. Thank you for opening up a creative space for us to thrive in. Yeah. And so I think the last people that we want to give the biggest shout out to is our contributing artists. We could not do all of this graphics on the wall and creating a video to be able to kind of give life to our message. Thank you for being that lifeline and for being the creators behind this. We hope to see more, right? And as we bring more of this about, like as we start collaborating more, hopefully this is not the last time we do this.
It is not.
Please say, please say no. I mean, yeah, this is not the last time we're gonna do this. We're gonna try this again, and we're just gonna keep at it, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
We're gonna be masters of this online virtual stuff. Like, just wait.
Yeah,
Just
2021,
Just
better,
wait.
yeah, don't wait for that. So, okay, so the cool thing is we are giving each artist who submitted a graphic and was able to fill out a form, because then we can contact you and we can mail you something.
Those forms.
Fill out those forms.
Some themes to the night.
I know. Yeah, we've got really good meme material tonight. I want to give we want to give you a special thank you because honestly, we have a certain amount of money to be able to bless others. So we have gotten a Best Buy $50 gift card for each and every one of you. So thank you so much. Awesome. And let's thank the audience.
Thank you.
Thank you, audience.
Thank you, audience. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being in on these deep conversations that we always tend to have. So thank you so much. We honestly could not do the work that we do without the people who believe in us. So thank you so much.
You are our community. If you're tuning in, even if it's now or later,
Our next
you
week,
are
maybe
our
our
community.
2021.
Yeah,
This
right?
is gonna be on YouTube, right?
Yeah, we'll have to put it in bits because I think we went down a couple times and then we brought it back up. So but we will have hopefully one complete thing. Maybe. We'll see.
Like looking at the behind the scenes.
I know, I feel like we're unwrapping a big present. So the last thing I kind of want to end with before we jump into these amazing giveaways that we just want to give out to the rest of the audience that is attending is that change is something that is organic in nature. And in order to have that change, we have to adapt and we have to innovate. So hopefully you all are the change makers that we need for our future. Thank you.
Yes. All right. Awesome. So let's do some raffles.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have, do you want me to start with the person that won a raffle?
Oh, they sent a video in of them dancing.
Oh, yeah. So this individual, very cute, very cute. They sent in a video of them dancing. So Gracie and Esme, you got a prize. If you're watching, congratulations.
Yay.
You got some very beautiful things.
I also got another video sent, and this one goes to Brian Enos, right? So we'll get your guys' address for those. So I have those two, and I'll turn it over to NABI for NABI's winners.
Yes, so we actually have two winners. We have Summer Martinez.
Summer Martinez, this is what you get.
Yay! And then the other is Rashawn Spotsville.
This one right here. That one's a nice one.
So we'll
Check
also
that out.
get some NABI swag along with these two.
Oh yeah.
Some good
There you
stuff.
go.
Some shoelaces.
Yeah, these shoelaces are from Urban Native Era, and they say you are on native land.
So we have one more.
Mhm.
Then what is the
I
last
didn't get
giveaway?
Oh, well maybe let's give it out to, you want to do one last trivia and see if we can announce a winner tomorrow?
Yeah. Trivia. Last raffle. So for those of you that stayed on to the end,
Or are maybe watching later.
Yeah.
You could have a chance to win.
and I'll throw in with this. So this is the shirts that we're wearing, and that's going to be this last raffle with some stickers, and then I'll throw in the Starbucks gift card. I guess that one.
Starbucks.
I mean,
keep you awake at night.
Pumpkin lattes. Is that what it's?
Oh yeah, the pumpkin cream.
For that one. But anyway, so that one gets Starbucks. So last trivia question, we'll announce the winner tomorrow. So again, if you guys haven't already, by the end of the night, make sure you subscribe
The first person to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
and our YouTube channel.
Yeah, let's do both of them at the same time.
And
you
your
need to push you.
Yeah, Foundation has
You guys have
channel.
Oh, cool.
So subscribe to all of our YouTube
all
channels
3 of these, and you will get that.
and our Instagrams.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah.
And then I'll throw in another gift card for that.
She's like,
get a gift
and
card.
you get a gift card, and you. No, just kidding.
Well, so we're not doing trivia, just the following?
Yeah, just the
okay,
following.
cool. That works,
Just the
'cause I'm not thinking
following.
of a question.
That
I was really over here like,
You were really thinking a
yeah.
question?
Cool. Well, thank you so much. We are ending the night.
And that's
We
a wrap.
made it to the end.
That went by fast.
Yeah.
Thank you. Happy Indigenous Peoples Day!
Happy Indigenous Peoples Day!
See you next
2020!
time.
Oh.
Bye.